Welcome to Not About You, Season 2. If this is the first time you've listened to Not About You, thanks for listening. There's an entire first season of shows that I hope you'll check out. Each episode of this show features a guest discussing some aspect of their own identity, their own lived experiences, that they'd maybe like to stop having to explain all the time. I'm your host, Levi Weinhagen, and just as in Season 1, I'm a white, straight, hetero, cisgendered man trying to grow in my understanding of lived experiences other than my own. I also still love making jokes, and I'm kind of an idiot, so I'm very open to feedback. Find me online or hit me with an email, napod@gmail.com. This is Not About You.
My name is Tim Iverson. I am an IT help desk representative for U.S. Internet. I work on the City of Minneapolis Wi-Fi project for the last 10 years, and I'm also a cripple.
So proud of you. Not at all a surprise of what you were going to say. Tim, first of all, I want to say thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely.
Being a guest.
It's a pleasure.
I feel lucky that I just recently got to know you, but we got to have a really good conversation, and you are really funny and aggressively honest, maybe I'll say.
Yes. Aggressively. Someone posted the other day, Minnesotans are so passive-aggressive. I'm like, I'm more just aggressive, really. I'm not very passive about anything.
I haven't seen any passivity.
Maybe when I was 10, I was a little more passive.
But I will say, so I'm a cripple. I know you...
I say that, I know.
Yes, and you sort of have, you definitely have an ownership around that
Absolutely
term.
my term. I should trademark it.
You
right
really
away.
should. I don't know who's going to fight you for it.
Surely there's someone.
But what that immediately makes me want to I want to ask you some other stuff, but what that immediately makes me want to ask you is...
Sure. I was hoping
that's a heavily loaded term.
For sure.
And it's been used to be incredibly hurtful by a lot of folks.
To me,
Yeah, you. Yeah.
If you're going to get specific, it is me.
So I can see in you taking that on as a way of reclaiming taking away the power of it. But
Absolutely
I also wonder how much you think about, if somebody who you kind of know or gets access to that. There's this idea of laughing for the wrong reasons or giving a green light to someone.
The chuckles the clown syndrome where you're laughing when you shouldn't laugh or maybe...
Right. Are you giving someone permission who shouldn't have permission to
Well, I don't know if anybody shouldn't have permission. I feel like everybody's allowed to a degree. I think if you know me really well, then you're allowed a lot more leeway. There's a lot more room there. But if you're just if you happen to see me be funny somewhere and you come up and buddy up to me and say it, I always think, okay, it depends on the context of where I am. If I'm at the Renaissance Festival or something, I'll expect it.
Yeah.
If I'm at Walmart, I'm going to be kind of like, okay, buddy, well, that's nice of you. But no, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So I had a talk with somebody about this once because I had gotten to a point over the years, there was a period of a month or so where...
I don't want to go too far, but I want to sort of establish you are visibly...
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I have cerebral palsy. I walk on crutches. Yeah. It's really obvious that something is wrong. And then when you talk to me, then it's confirmed.
Right.
There's definitely
a whole set of different things are wrong.
With you. Right. So it was kind of a double-edged sword thing where I was struggling a little bit with what the responsibility of taking the ownership of that word is. And is that appropriate for everyone just because I want to wield it like a sword? Is that cool for everyone else in the room? And what happens is people start to only see me that way. And part of the reason I took ownership of it was to kind of dispel that or break the ice or get that out of the way. And then it became the focus because it became the point of the joke. In other words, so now we're really paying attention to it because you're always pointing it out. So and a friend of mine said, yeah, you're kind of... He's like, you did it to yourself, man. I think he thought it was a detrimental thing. He thought, you're really only focusing on that one thing and you're not giving people a chance to know you any other way. So while it was at one time bringing you in and breaking the wall down, it was also putting you at arm's length because there was this line there. So it was like, well, we can talk about it this much and that's all. So if you're really going to know me, you have to get a little deeper into it, right? And the main question I always get, whether you know me or not, or whether I joke about it today, if I'm serious for one day out of the year, is that
what is that? Do you have a set day?
No, I don't. I throw a dart at a calendar. It's who uses paper calendars anymore? I don't know.
Just for
welcome to the 21st century, Tim. So it's like it's a way of kind of preventing intimacy about that topic too. And so I struggled with that for a while. I thought, well, maybe I should be more PC or careful with it, and over time, I kind of decided, you know what, I can't control what other people feel or how they think of it. If they want to perceive me a certain way, that's up to them. I'm stuck with it. I have to live with it. So to me, it's like whatever makes me get through my day and makes it easier for me, the hell with all of you. Hopefully you're enjoying that.
Yeah.
And it's a weird phenomenon that I grew up in a handicapped school, so I had a lot of handicapped friends when I was younger, and then when I was mainstreamed, I lost all of those friends. They all got mainstreamed at different schools, and I never had another handicapped friend again, and I still kind of don't. I have one that is kind of on the line,
Right.
So
meanwhile, you're a lot of people's handicapped friend.
Yeah, for sure. And that same thing happens, I don't know, I didn't say it, but I'm also gay.
Oh, right.
So I grew up, of course, around mostly straight people that were in the closet if they were gay or they were straight. And I didn't have any gay friends, and when I got into the gay community, I was there really steady for like a year, and then I kind of faded out of there and went back to my regular everyday life, which had really no gay people in it. So, and I'm just now, in the last few years, getting into a more eclectic group, a theater group, where there's more there's people who are different genders and different gender identities, and now I get a mixture, where before it was all family, friends, straight people. So the same thing with the disability, they get so used to me being such a joker that they go, oh, you're just like a regular dude. So they forget that I'm disabled, and so do I. Or I forget that I'm gay. They're like, you seem so cool that you're gay, but you're so cool. Like, well, what did you think I was going to do? Come out in a divine wig and, hey, girl, that I'd come over there and start blowing you. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Yeah. I might say that I would do it, sure. But and so that to me so I picked this name. I took the word cripple and I kind of been swinging it around, but you're sort of like a bull in a china shop because you don't know who you're going to offend.
Well, that's it. I think that's really interesting in that you can see yourself adopting it as a sort of a empowerment. Like you're not going to let that hold you down.
Right, yeah, right.
But at the same time, it keeps you from vulnerability.
It does.
So you have to check that for yourself of like,
yeah, I have to decide.
Is this hurting or helping me?
Is it hurting or helping me, and is it any way bothering you? I don't know. But I got to a point where I decided I couldn't worry about that. I had to worry about how do I feel about it today. Maybe there will be a day where I won't be happy with it. I'll be like, okay, I got to stop doing this for whatever reason. Something horrible might happen. I don't know. And I go, oh no, that tragic car accident where suddenly I couldn't use it anymore. And so I just felt it's really a matter of so far so good. Yeah. There's been a few instances where people have chastised me about it.
Right.
And
is it ever people who also have disabilities, or is it always
No, it's always someone who's able-bodied who has a cousin, friend, sister. I'm making air quotes for people who can't see.
I think we can hear them. Yeah.
You can almost hear them. That is disabled, or they knew a friend of a friend that's disabled, and how dare I?
Right. Their empathy has a problem.
You should be aware of the fact that you might bother someone.
Right.
And I'm like, but it's no different than any other comedian thing you see.
Yeah.
If Amy Schumer gets up on stage and says something racist in a joke, she's not going to know that till later. Like, oh, that was racist. I didn't think about it that way.
Right.
She's just writing a joke. She's not looking at it like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out there and annoy Latino people. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you're not planning it.
Yeah.
It's just, it comes out. It's such a natural part of myself now, which is a night and day difference from when I was a little boy.
This is a place of like, I think a lot of people have ignorance in this area of, you talked about being mainstreamed.
Yeah.
And I think like we can someone who doesn't have that experience can go like, oh, you were brought into sort of a school that wasn't specifically for people with disabilities.
At all.
But I think maybe there's a story of, that seems wonderful. And I wonder if you can sort of shed a little light on what that actually means to be mainstreamed and then what it was actually like for you personally.
Sure. So what mainstreaming is that and I don't know if there are a lot of these schools. I know that here in Minnesota that we had the Michael Dowling School for Handicapped Children. And so if you were handicapped, you went to that school from kindergarten on up to whatever grade it was.
And that was a wide mix of what it meant to be handicapped at that school.
Yeah, at that school there was every variance of handicap, of mental disability, it was a big old happy Noah's Ark of every disability you could imagine. So, and I made a lot of friends there, and I always had, weirdly, there were a couple of handicapped folks in my neighborhood growing up too. So I was best friends with a guy named Mike who was my neighbor a few blocks away, and we hung out all the time, and he couldn't speak, and he couldn't sit up very well, and he had cerebral palsy like me, but a very much more severe form of it, and we were buddies. So I learned to listen very well and understand people who couldn't speak very well. It's sort of almost like learning another language, like French, or, you get an ear for it. Where you're like, he wants this, or he wants it, hey. And that's why we were so tight, was because I was one of the few people in his world, besides his mother, who really understood him.
And paid attention.
Like, I paid attention, and you were just a normal guy. I wasn't weirded out by it or anything, and so I went to this school up until the 4th grade, and there was this idea that came along, and I don't know who invented it. It was the beginning of the PC era, maybe. Right around the 5th grade, and that would have made me, 11 years old?
Yep.
So you're looking 1976, maybe? There was a thing called mainstreaming, where they took us out of the handicap school and put us into a regular classroom. And for some of those folks with more severe disabilities, they gave you an aide. So you'd have a person with you to go through your school day. And what they did is they kind of did a warming up thing, where I went to a regular school for a day and talked to regular students and sat in the class, and they all introduced me. And it seemed very like, oh, this is really cool. They're cool with it. Mm-hmm. So when I got there and the reality started to set in about what kids are like and what it's, suddenly I was actually different. Where before I wasn't 100% registering that, because I was only around family and I was only around my friend, and I didn't have a lot of interaction with regular everyday people.
Right. And because this is obvious, but everyone is different, like in the world.
Right.
But your sort of pronounced physical difference wasn't as pronounced because you were in this setting where...
Kind of a bubble. Where
the differences weren't called out.
Even though my family is all able-bodied, normal folk, so quote-unquote.
Right.
They knew I was disabled. It was a fact of life in our family. We didn't point it out.
No.
It's just like, you're an African-American person in an African-American family. You're not going to be like, you're black, point at each other. We don't care.
Yeah.
So no one noticed. No one said anything, really. And then I get there, and I'm like, oh, I see how it is. You know what I mean? And it was very difficult. I came home more than 100 times crying about it, and my mother would just be like, I'd be laying on the floor like losing it, and she's just like, well, honey, there's nothing we can do. You're there now. We can't go backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I really had to learn to fight, and it took up until, I would say, my junior year of high school before I really started getting like Terminator angry. Like, I will fight you to the death. Leave me alone.
Was it, were you
I was
internalizing it until
straight
then?
through. I mean, straight through junior high, grade school, junior high, high school, bullied straight through. On a daily basis.
You've told me a bit, bully means a lot of things, but you were physically attacked.
Physically attacked. I was dumped out in a field and left for dead. There was a million things that happened on a daily basis, to the point where when I got to when I got to senior high, in the 10th, 11th grade, they hired a guy we called Tiny. He was a big guy, obviously.
One of my favorite nickname conventions.
Yeah, that's great. So, to be my bodyguard.
It's not an aid, just to someone to keep you from being murdered.
I will beat you if you don't leave him alone. Literally, he had to shove people up against the wall and be like, leave him alone. So he would walk a few feet behind me in incognito and wait. Yeah. And wait, and then go up and be like, poke, 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 and they would finally left me alone. But what really worked was me turning on everybody. So who was this really nice, funny guy that I am today? I was building that person then, and it just turned into murder. Yeah. Like I was just like, the next person who touches me is a dead man.
It was about survival.
Right? Yes. Yeah. And I learned very quickly, this is what you have to do. And so when I got out of there, and I got out of that suburb and that small town, I was so happy. It was almost bizarre to go to college and realize, adults don't really do that to each other, typically.
They don't throw each other in a field.
Right, they don't beat each other up and stuff you in a locker. Yeah. They're like, hey, we're all grown up now. We can behave. So it took me a couple of years to adjust to not looking over my shoulder. Yeah. And that, to me, is where the impetus for, owning that disability and saying, okay, too bad, suck it, this is what I am, you're going to have to deal with that. And so what I noticed was, when I got into college and stuff, is it started to creep into the late 80s, early 90s, where the PC movement was starting. So there was this walking on eggshells, hands-off attitude. Everyone was always silently holding doors open.
Right, but not mentioning anything.
But not acknowledging me or, giving me a wink or anything like that. And I thought that was so bizarre to go from this overly focused kind of hatred otherness to this kind of, sure, not even a have a nice day. So it was in the middle ground of we're not overly. And then what I noticed is in the 90s, I came out of the closet in 1990. So I'm gay. So I came out of the closet in 1990, and it was very strange to have your eyes opened and then see that I am in two camps. I'm disabled and I'm gay. And that's two heavy weights to carry, which I didn't at first realize. I was like, you know what, now there's another whole ball of wax to deal with. But I kind of skirted the gay issue pretty well because the disability is so outward that they didn't notice, you're also gay. It didn't strike anybody. So I had a hard time, convincing anybody that was the case. There were friends of mine who have been friends of mine my whole life that are like, no. They would tell me no. I would tell them, I would come out to them, I'm gay, and they'd be like, no, you're not.
Weird.
And I don't know, I think that's partly because there's this sort of preciousness that happens when you're disabled. You're not, crippled people don't have sex.
Yeah.
You're blessed by God.
You're just an inspiration.
You're an American hero, I'm like Bradley Cooper, an American sniper, only I have crutches. And so, I don't do those things, those dirty, horrible things. And I thought to myself, wow, this is a whole other hill to climb and figure out. So luckily for me, I've always been a jokester since I was 4, and I'm extremely good at being overly flirty or sexual. So that was a good flirty, jokey time for me. I made a lot of sex jokes. I became this kind of overly outward person through that process, trying to kind of make a point. So then they're like, so I used to have roommates be like, you're dirty. They realize how dirty I was. I am. I'm trying to break down those walls. Yeah. Because there must be other disabled people who aren't as forward as me. Yeah. That are just tearing their hair out all I want is a blowjob, for God's sake, somebody. You know what I mean? No,
so
I am not an animal.
Clarify, you're saying people with disabilities do have sex?
This one does. Oh, okay. I don't know about other
You want to speak for everyone?
No, I could speak for me and maybe one other guy that ran into me at the gay bar one night who was in a wheelchair. Right. There was one other guy that I've ever known that's truly disabled that I know for a fact.
Right.
I could have slept with him if his helper guy hadn't come and wheeled him away. No.
Is it cock blocking?
Totally. Oh my! I was like, really? He was very happy though. I never saw a happier person in my life. I don't know that he even spoke or not, but I was at the bar, and this is the thing. So the way I stand on my crutches, people don't know, is I kind of lean forward. Mm-hmm. So my ass kind of sticks out. Mm-hmm. And I got to a point where I was in the gay bar, and people have this, I'm relating this to disability, just so you know. People have this thing where they want to reach out and grab my butt. They think it's okay to touch me.
Because of your disability?
Because I'm disabled, and they think they're doing me a favor, maybe. Or they don't know how to approach.
Pity harassment?
Yeah, like they don't know how to approach me.
Yeah.
So they figure, well, I'll do that and see what happens, maybe. I don't know what's going on in their minds. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was getting really annoyed one day. It was out of hand, like to the point where people would run by and tweak my nipple and do stuff, and I was getting really pissy. Yeah. I was getting like, you know, poor women who go through this all the time, right? I'm like, boy, do I know how you feel.
Yeah.
I finally whirl around, what the hell? And I look, and it's this guy in a wheelchair, right? And he's looking up at me, like grinning, like the Cheshire Cat on fire, right? And he's just cute as a button, just as cute as can be. And I was like, looking down at him like, all right, buddy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, you like that, do you? So then I turn around and I stick it at him, you know. And he's just, and I turn around and said, you like that? I said, do you like this? And I put my junk up on his armrest, you know. And he's like, eyes got real big. Yeah, like, you know, like he's so happy. And I'm like, grab it. Do it. You know, I'm like totally, and I feel like on one hand I'm really pushing, you know, I'm like, what, you know.
Yeah.
But he's as happy as he can be. The horrified look on his PCA's face, or his friend's face, when he came over there, you know, bringing back water or whatever he was doing. Just like, what's going on here? You know, you two, you know what I mean? Like this whole, he didn't say anything, but it was like, you could feel it coming off of him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, whoa, my buddy, you know. And we weren't really doing, I didn't like take it out or anything.
Yeah.
You know, he was just feeling me up and loving it, you know. And I said, you're pretty damn cute. You're pretty stinking cute, honey. And I was just pumping him up. And he's, I mean, I never saw a happier person in my life. And it made me think about the fact that, man, there's a lot of that going on, isn't there? And I thought I was the only one. The typical thing when I go out, which never happens anymore, but when I did, people will come up to me and stomp on my foot. They'd sometimes try to do it surreptitiously. Sometimes they would try to be sneaky. Sometimes they just literally come up and stomp on my foot and go, can you feel that? And I mean, of course, it hurts like hell.
Yeah.
Right? So I can feel it, but I mean, they don't ask me first.
No, that's a weird way to ask a question.
So it's a weird way, and what they're really trying to find out is, can you feel anything from there down? So like where the fun stuff is, where the fun bags are, you know? I'm surprised they didn't haul off and knee me in the crotch, right? So, and it happens
a weird kind of flirting.
Constantly. Yeah, and then the next thing is, I was on crutches once. I broke my leg once skiing or whatever. And I'm like,
So you get it then.
I go, that's sad.
Yeah.
You did it for a whole week? Oh, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that's interesting. Like, that's a very specific reaction in a sort of sexual setting. Like, I'm curious. Like, that seems like a weird mix of aggression and denial of, like, who you are. Like, they're trying to figure something out, but they don't fully treat you like a human.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's like when people see documentaries about guys who make sex dolls. And they must think, what must that be like?
Yeah.
So then they look at me like you're like a sex doll.
Right.
I could probably throw you up over my shoulder and do whatever I want with you or whatever. So I think they're thinking that on one hand, but they're also thinking, well, what must that be like?
Yeah.
And then it kind of progresses sometimes into, no, I wouldn't say always because I'm not a mind reader, but I would think like he probably would appreciate it if I
do you a favor,
plowed him tonight or whatever, right? And I'm like, no, you know? And so to me, it really depends on you. And as much as I would appreciate, or I would say, hey, this person didn't really even bring it up.
Yeah.
That's only happened once. I dated somebody where they never brought it up. They never talked about it. So it's a mixed bag of, do I really love that? Do I appreciate that? Or would I rather you just say what's on your
mind.
Well,
it's really curious because it seems like what you're describing is like you either get charitable sexual attention or fetishized sexual attention.
And I would say
just like, hey, you are a person I'm attracted to.
I like you, you're a cool guy, right? And I think I get fetishized attention way more than I get sympathy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, for sure, or curiosity. I get fetishism way more.
That doesn't seem awesome. I don't know if
it's not that great.
Yeah.
No, I'm lucky in that the partners I've had, I really am very lucky that I did meet them through other people and different weird situations where I was like, hey, they're actually really cool. Some people are very persistent to the point where I don't know if you have a problem.
Yeah.
Are you a deviant? Are you addicted? What's your deal? I've had guys on the internet, when the internet was a thing, and I used to try to internet date, which is really fun for anyone, especially me. There was always
what do you put in your profile?
Well, right, and I would get one or two things. People who were upset or angry because I didn't say in my profile that I was disabled, or I never said it to them in chat. And to me, I forget that I'm disabled. Literally, I forget. I've done things like, I was folding towels one day, and I got up, like you do, and I grabbed the towels like this, and I stepped out in the middle of the room and fell on the floor. And the towels went everywhere.
Without your crutches,
I sat there like, I forgot.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot I was crippled. That's bizarre.
Right.
So, and I forget about it, so we're just having a regular chat, like, ha ha, we're getting along, oh wow. It never occurs to me. So sometimes they're mad, and sometimes they're like, you really should put that in your profile. And then when I would put it in my profile, then I would get the opposite thing where it was like, you shouldn't just do that right away.
Right. Or you're going to get someone who wants to talk to you because of that.
Or not talk to you. You're not going to, I would get more like, no one's going to talk to you if you put that in your profile. They would actually say that to me.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to want to talk to you. It's kind of pushing people away.
Right. Well, and I think like, I have generalized anxiety disorder.
You do?
I don't, yeah.
How can I help?
Please. I just want you to know I have problems. No, but I'm saying like, I don't think anyone would say you need to put that in your dating profile.
Yeah, that's crazy,
so
right?
Why is it because it's a physical manifestation of something rather than something that is also, people have tons of other issues in their lives.
Yeah, right.
That we're not sort of demanded
and it's not like I'm a Siamese twin and a circus freak. It's not gonna,
which maybe that should be in your profile. Like,
that should
I have
be.
Someone I'm connected to I can't be away from.
Right.
You should know
you
this.
like three ways.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, my brother doesn't, so...
Right. He's going to be punching you the entire time we're having sex. Just so you know, because he hates gay people. So
So that idea that you have to disclose that, I think is really odd.
Really ridiculous.
Because it's a part of you, but it's not who you are.
Yeah, I don't know why that matters. Or I do know why it matters on one hand, but at the same time, it's like, well, we're just having sex. I'm not marrying you.
Right. And maybe that means there's different physical things you have to do sexually. I don't know.
Or not. Or right. And then really a lot of, and when you look at that, like I used to study sex a lot when I was younger because I was so curious about, what do you do? What's going on? This is way before I started having it. And I thought to myself, well, wow, the majority of, in my case, men, really the things they like the best don't require a whole lot of bendy twisty. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
This is perfect.
This is awesome. I could do that. Shit, I could do, please. I've been eating Tootsie Pops my whole life. I'm ready. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll Center, honey? Come on, let's find out. I'm ready.
I feel like you're speaking in metaphor. I don't know.
I don't know. Am I not being specific enough? I could show you. I could show you.
You keep offering that.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. Don't worry. I will. When you're me, you have to throw it out there as much as you possibly can.
Well, so I'm curious about that. Like that, I mean, we don't have to get off sex.
Quote.
But that idea that with saying I'm the cripple, or even saying I'm gay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and I'd love you to tell me if this is true. There's you have a visible disability.
I do.
Which somehow makes you invisible in a lot of spaces.
I mean, and that's not even counting the crutches. Just my face alone is like,
it's a hindrance.
I've got a face for radio. It's true.
That's why I wanted you to do this.
Do this. And
I normally do a video piece.
Yeah, YouTube show, but I'm not on that one. Now, obviously, because who wants to see all this?
Yeah.
No one does. Right.
But what I'm curious about is that, I mean, is that true? Do you have this thing where you're invisibilized? Like, people either don't want to see you at all or they only see your crutches.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I imagine that's true.
Because you mentioned that like someone holding the door for you, but kind of looking away and not even acknowledging you.
Now it's not that case anymore.
Yeah, what do people do now?
In the early days, now it's a lot of winking. There's a lot of good for yous. There's a lot of that. I was walking down the street one day, walking down Hennepin, and people literally were having a conversation, and I kind of went between them because they're in the way.
Yeah.
And they're, hey, look at you go. You're doing great. Because I'm smiling. I'm listening to something funny on the headphones. And I'm like, well, you're really inspiring. And they're, telling me this. And I'm thinking to myself.
And they say it? Like
they say it. Yeah. And I don't know what it is about me. Even when I'm not speaking, people feel like it's really okay to say whatever they have on their mind. They've always come to me and confided in me the deepest, darkest, horrible things I could ever want to hear. And they love to just tell me whatever's on their mind. So no matter how inappropriate it might be or wrong or whatever, they just say it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do they do that? What is it about me that makes them want to do that?
You do have a joyousness to you. So it might be...
I'm sorry.
No, it's annoying.
It was years of cultivation, really. I was a miserable child.
Yeah, you've told me that before, that like you have had to fight to be sort of positive.
Well, no, I think I was always positive. I think I was always disappointed that everyone else wasn't on board with it.
Oh, yeah.
I was always positive. Since I was 2, I was a jokester.
Yeah.
I got a story. My brother was, I used to sleep on this couch at our house because when I got back from surgeries, I'd be there for months. I'd been cast up to my nipples.
Because you had a lot of like surgeries on your legs.
Surgeries on my legs, and I couldn't move or leave. So they put me out there because there was really nowhere to put me. Like where are we going to, he doesn't fit in the bed.
Yeah.
He's got casts that are like this with a bar between with your legs spread. There's no room. So I would sleep there, and one night my brother brought some friends home, and they wanted to open up the double album and make some joints and get out of here. You're bothering me.
Yeah.
So he's lifting me up and bringing me into the bedroom while I was asleep, and then I was like laying there, and my little 5-year-old brain is like, this will be funny, do this. So he looks down to see if I'm still sleeping, and I open my eyes, and I cross my eyes in really far, and I go, like this. And he lost it. Like, he's literally, like, crumbling to the ground, trying not to drop me. Like, don't do that, man. Like, I was always one step ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
They would take my glasses away so I would shut up. Because if I could see, I would read.
Yeah.
Or I would mimic, or I would know things. Like, they couldn't watch Jeopardy with me.
So is it like people...
Even at 9 years old, I'm like, answer. I know all the countries. I know, because I would read the encyclopedia.
But people want you to be bummed out or defeated? Do you feel like you felt that?
I do. I feel like it bothers them that I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Under those circumstances. That really annoys people.
Yeah.
At least then. I think now it's different. And I don't know what Trump's America is going to be like, but I don't know. We'll see.
But you're gay and you're disabled.
Boy, put me on a boat. Someone ship me out of here.
It's coming.
It's coming. We're getting there. Oh, is this all? So this is just
I've been sent here.
Yeah. So we're recording this as proof.
Yeah.
So you can bring it up to Trump's
Some people are surreptitiously recorded. We decided we don't need to with you, so it's fine.
Yeah, because I'm out there with you. Right? So it's like I'm a moving target. I'm ready to go. A slow moving target, albeit slow.
Yeah.
But
yeah, people well, what is it now? Like, so people tell you like you're an inspiration. Like, also what is that?
My favorite Seth MacFarlane joke is, I always thought Charlie Sheen was a real asshole until I found out he was a drug addict and had a, mental disability. Now I think he's a hero and an inspiration. Yeah. And I'm like, when I heard that joke, it was like the heavens open.
Yeah.
I was like, yes! Someone said it, So I always loved South Park because they pulled literally no punches. Cripple fight, they would just go right at it.
Yeah.
And that they used the word cripple was like, man, I want a quarter every time somebody says Timmy to me. You know, I wish I was friends with those guys. Like, if I was famous, that'd be the first people I'd go to. Like, you guys get me.
Yeah.
You know, I was at home like, where's my paycheck? Because I literally have a picture of me when I was little that looks almost identical to Timmy on South Park.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'm like, dudes, come on.
You think they might have stolen
Totally ripped me off. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
So is that your reaction when you walk down the street and someone's like, you're an inspiration? Like, you kind of want to yell at them?
I get one or two
Even
things.
though you're like,
I don't know, I don't want to yell. No, I don't want to yell.
Want?
Here's the thing. So a lot of times I'll go out publicly and people will pull their kids away.
Oh, yeah.
They'll pull their kids to the
Because they might catch it, or what?
Well, I mean, don't get in his way.
Oh, sure.
And little kids have a tendency to wander. They want to wander up to me. I'm a magnet for kids and dogs and religious people.
Mm.
Those are the people that gravitate to me.
Interesting.
And whether or not you're religious in a typical religion way, or if you're spiritual, I get a lot of that. You have such a strong aura. Mm. You know, so I get a lot of people wanting to heal me and put their hands on me. And
has that worked at all?
It's not so far.
Okay.
Give me huge junk though.
Yeah, oh wow! I mean, so maybe they missed.
They missed. Well, I didn't touch the right places.
I see.
That was my uncle when I was 4. But no,
dark.
I miss him. I miss him. I mean, it makes me sad. Now I miss him. I didn't know then what I had.
Yeah.
So, but I get a lot of that. So I either get really religious people who think I'm a blessing and an angel from heaven, or I get the people who think I'm an inspiration, or I get the hell out of my way, you fucking retard. Mm. So it's one or the other. There's never just the average, like, hey, how are you?
Right.
Just straight up, just hi.
Well, here's a weird question. Would you rather someone say you're an inspiration, or someone be like, get out of my fucking way with your problems? Which one feels more like you being treated like a normal human being?
Neither one.
Yeah.
Like, neither one. Seriously, I'd rather you just say nothing.
No.
Just don't
Why don't
say
people
anything.
pick that?
I don't know why they don't shut the hell up. Well, seriously, I had a coworker once. I have a great story. So we're going to lunch. It better be good, because it's getting edited out if it's not.
I'll pull it.
So, you're really threatening. It's really sexy. So, because I'm used to that, you know, I like that whole abusive, I'm into that thing.
Yeah, I see.
So, yeah, you know I love it. So there's this thing, we're walking to lunch through the Skyway, and people are running up ahead and holding the door open. And I think it's up by the third or fourth one, it's kind of getting to be kind of noticeable. Mm-hmm. And he says, gosh, Tim, you're so lucky. People hold the door open for you and everything. And I look at him and I said, trade ya. And we laughed real hard. Yeah. Like, it just came to me really quick, like, trade ya.
Yeah.
And he said, I went home and told my entire family. Like, I went to a family reunion this weekend and told everybody about my friend at work who said this thing, and we all had a good laugh. You know, at my expense. Which I think is great. And I'm like, well, see, you don't think about it that way.
Yeah.
You think, oh, crippled people get all the good stuff. You get the parking spaces and the high toilets and don't handicapped people in America get free money and free food and free rent?
And who paid for those crutches?
Right. Well, oh boy, I got stories. Let me tell you about these crutches.
Oh.
Wow. I try to get crutches in America when you need them. Good luck.
Really?
Oh, wow. Obstacles? I went through... I can't tell you. So the point where I finally started making my own.
Oh, really?
So these are a present from my best friend, Deb.
Yeah, they're pretty beat up. Like
from junior high. Well, I mean, they're my shit kickers. I love them. So I've had a couple other people make me pairs that are really fancy and nice. I had one pair for singing, when I used to sing with the chorus, the Gay Men's Chorus, and it was a tuxedo pair.
So they were show crutches.
My show crutches. And when I strip, I need them. So.
Yeah. But you bring your own pole.
Yeah. Yes. And so, you know, because I am a male stripper, I don't know if you guys know. Then there was these are just my everyday, but she gave them to me as a birthday present. So her father made them to my specifications. This is what I want. I could never find them the way I like them. And I used to have to go back. I used to go, like, to what's the Shriners and stuff, and I'd have to go to a board meeting and tell them my story. I'd be like, I can't get anybody to give me any crutches.
Yeah.
You know, and then people would say, like, I'll give you a pair. Well, I broke my leg. I'll save them for you. So that's how I would get them. I couldn't just go to social services and be like, I need to walk.
Right.
Guys. I mean, these things would be taped together, and I'd be like, this is not going to last.
Right, because you use them all day, every day.
All day, every day, all the time,
yeah.
24 hours a day. So I couldn't get people to give me a pair of crutches to save my life. And people don't realize you don't get free anything. Ever.
Right.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're disabled or not disabled. There's no such thing as a free anything.
Yeah.
So I never could get the services I need. And to this day, I'm kind of angry about the way I approach it, where I'm like, I don't want your fucking services.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, screw you, I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah,
You want something done right, do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm getting, because we're in the era of all the people my age, the baby boomer era before me, are all getting old now, so everybody's getting disabled.
Right.
I'm going to be the hottest piece of ass at the local nursing home. I can't wait. I told my nephew, I said, plan on getting a few phone calls. If you put me in there, you're going to get calls. Tim's sleeping with the residents again. Can you come pick up your uncle, please? He just molested one of the male nurses. It's not cool. You know what I mean? So it's going to be, but I'm going to be the hottest piece of ass there because, man, I've already done this.
Right, you know what you're doing.
Right, everybody wants to talk to me. How do you manage this, right? And so now it's okay. Now everybody's like, don't you need housekeeping services? You could get free blah, 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 this. Did you know you could sign up for... And it's really a process, quite a lot of hoops to jump through to get anything. So I've just learned to adapt because it's just so much easier to just go do it the way you know how to do it.
Yeah.
If I need to carry a gallon of milk, figure it out.
Right.
Don't ask for a special handle clip that goes on your crutch that cost insurance $2,000 when I could just figure it out. You'll fix it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Carry it home a cup at a time
So
if you have to.
Tenacity that you've developed.
That's a word I've heard many times.
Yeah.
At a workplace I used to work at downtown, they used to call me Tenacious T. I had to go look it up. When I was younger, like, what is this?
What are people calling me?
Now what are they calling me? Now what is this? Right? And I'm like, oh, this is a good thing. My 8th grade writing teacher said, you have so much fortitude. And people would say that to me, and I'm like, I do? Because I look at it like, I suppose I do. I suppose I do have a tenacity. But I feel like I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's not like I chose to be this way.
Right.
I'm a hero because I decided to go to the Vietnam War and fight for my country. I didn't do that. I was born this way, and I have to fight my way out if I want to.
I gotta go to the bathroom. It's
right,
not
right. It's like get busy living or get busy dying. Pick one, right? So I don't know how much of a hero that really makes me.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I want to be that. So as I do more of these magical podcasts, that they just keep coming. Randomly.
You're very popular.
I am. I'm very big in Japan. I don't know if you guys know. So there's this thing where well, maybe I should publicly speak about this. Maybe I should be a handicapped comedian or something and really point some of this stuff out.
Yeah.
And I've considered it. And I have horrible stage fright. I'm not a public speaker. Can you believe it? I haven't shut up for 45 minutes.
Yeah, you talk a lot. I know. My experience.
I know, and I can't. I don't want you looking at me doing it. And I don't know what that's from. That might be from the bullying in high school and the ostracism really kind of pushing me to one. Yeah,
because you have confidence.
Yeah, right, but I don't like being scrutinized. I don't like that aspect. I don't think I'd want to be famous and be scrutinized on Twitter or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not that I would care or look, but I don't know that I want to be someone who's disabled to call me on my voicemail and be like, look, you asshole. Who asked you? You know what I mean? Shut up.
Well, I'm curious about that. Like, like you said, just saying I'm the cripple and being in some circles, like you have owned that term at like the Renaissance Festival and at like various conventions.
And I've been told last year, after 11 years of doing it, that I can't do that anymore.
Right.
And that no one can say that to me anymore.
Right. You're not allowed to decide
what I choose to be called.
Because it's offensive.
Right.
Even though,
how dare I offend people who don't have disabilities? Right. I said, have we asked any disabled people if they care?
Yeah.
You know, we haven't, and so I apologize.
It's all right.
So I don't know that we've asked anybody or did a survey, and I can't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's just like anyone else, any other person of color or any difference that you might have. They go out, Chris Rock makes a lot of jokes about being a black American.
Yeah.
He didn't go around and ask everybody if that was okay.
Yeah.
So why should I have to do that?
What I wonder is if this idea of you saying, maybe I should go talk about this more. Like, there's a form of advocacy there.
There is. And
what do you think would it just be sharing stories so people are like, hey, I'm a normal person? I mean, are you fighting for something specific, or is it more just acknowledgement
I don't know that I
I'm
have
not
that agenda, except that was my agenda. My whole life was like, I just want to be seen like anyone else.
Yeah.
I'll give you, there's a South Park episode where this woman has a conjoined twin fetus attached to her head. And she has conjoined fetus syndrome or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they all are like, oh, what should we do? What should we do? And everybody just kind of ignores her. And she's like, I'm a human being. Pay attention to me. So then they decide they're going to have a big celebration and make a special day. So everybody wore these little hats that had a conjoined twin on them, and it was special conjoined twin celebration day the town decided to do. And then she got up on the microphone and says, well, great. All I wanted to do was be treated like a normal person. Now you're making it a big deal and a thing now. Yeah. So I don't know that I have a plan to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I do. I think that the best way you can do anything, the best way you can change minds is just in your everyday life, be yourself. You be you, and let them decide whether or not you're worth anything. And let you decide you're worth something, and you just know that, and you just own that. And people will learn their own lessons, good or bad, from whatever it is I do.
It seems like a good message for everyone.
Well, right. I can't, because that's my point, is I don't want to specialize it.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing, is that it's not that special, guys. It just so happened. And other people will argue me to the death that it does matter, and it is a big deal, and I do have a responsibility, and I should do that more, or that, yes, Tim, it is a big deal, and you don't know how wonderful that is. You don't appreciate that.
Right.
Trust me, I appreciate it. Boy, do I know how special and wonderful this is. Like, wow. Because, and I do, and really in a reality sense, I do. I have a lot of friends who are way more disabled than me when I was growing up. How fortunate I am to be able to be verbal and to be cognizant and well-spoken and positive and all these things that I've cultivated.
Yeah.
So lucky. Like, I could be drooling in a spit cup somewhere.
Right.
Pooping in my incontinence pants, which I'm sure will come someday.
I feel like you would make that your own as well, though.
I'm going to be a party to deal with. Let me tell you, these poor people at Ebenezer Nursing Home, gird your loins now, because I'm on my way.
But I know you consume a fair amount of various pop culture things.
And you know why that is? So the thing about being trapped on the couch. My mother had a TV on in every room of the house. She would go between rooms cleaning and cooking and doing whatever and watching 10 shows at once. So you hear this every single day, every single day, every single day.
Yeah.
It sinks in. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I have an incredible memory. My family would be like, oh, I can't watch game shows with you. You're annoying. Shut up. Like, they were always telling me to shut up.
Yeah, you ruined Jeopardy.
Now, I can't shut up.
It's annoying.
Like, shut the hell up, Tim. So, right. So.
Well, what I was curious about is, there's a show I've been recently really liking that, again,
I'm so glad we get to talk about this.
Speechless. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I knew you were going to say it.
And I love it because the comedy's really strong.
Yes.
And they actually don't care that much that there's this kid in a wheelchair. Like, that's not the point of the show. It's just a really good family comedy.
There's episodes around it.
Yeah, but I think they do it pretty well.
Deftly handled. And I don't know if there's disabled people writing the show.
It has to be. Because that kid has a sense of humor. Like, he's a whole character.
He's a whole person.
Yeah.
He's a whole person. He's disabled, but man, that's spunky. He's spunky.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I got it from too. I learned really early on that, hey, if you're funny or you're spunky, that really helps you.
Yeah.
It helps bolster other people's confidence in you.
Yeah. But I'm curious I'm glad that you like that show, but I'm curious if you have, are there other good representations?
No.
South Park.
Even people so in the 80s, Jerry Jewell was on Facts of Life, and she had cerebral palsy, and she was a comedian, a stand-up comedian.
An actual stand-up comedian, too.
An actual comedian, a real famous person, an actual stand-up comedian. And even that wasn't quite representing me, I didn't feel. Because I'm like, yeah, but I don't, Yeah, even when they dealt with it in the 80s, it was so very kid glove.
Yeah, well, and that was the whole point of it was, here's a person with a disability.
Like shine a spotlight on this, rather than to just make it a common part of the thing. Just like with anything else. Being a gay person, I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
They can't just make the gay person on the show, just so happens you're gay. We don't need to, we can bring it up and say, yeah, I gotta go home and meet the husband at 7, and just leave it at that.
But that's not a storyline.
Right. Well, and the thing is, it's just like on, they have news stories about gay pride marches.
Yeah.
And the media goes right to the biggest, loudest drag queen in heels with nipple clamps and you know what I mean? Captain's hat and a paddle, like as fast as they can get to that person, right? They don't talk to the lesbian couple, mother of 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not the average Joe guy who looks like you who happens to be gay. It's the girl, hey sister, with 75 dildos sticking out of her hat. You know, that's the person they go to. And television always does that. They write for comedy.
Right.
Because the easiest way for you to get comfortable with my difference is to make fun of it.
Yeah.
So Just Jack or Will and Grace.
Easiest. It's lazy.
It's the lazy way to do it.
Which is what, I mean, and that's what bugs me.
There's the other part of that double-edged sword I was talking about earlier. Is it lazy for me to do it that way?
Oh, sure.
Should I be doing other things that might be a little more effective?
Right. Can you get laughs beyond just saying I'm cripple?
Not even that. Yeah. Can I impress upon you that I'm a whole person without making it a joke?
Oh, yeah.
So that was what I struggled with. Am I making myself the Amos and Andy of the disabled community?
Yeah.
Right? You know? And at the end of the day, I decided I didn't care.
Yeah.
That I was like, if they are going to take the time to find out that there's more to me, then good for you. And if you don't, well, then you're missing out. And anyone who really knows me well or is starting to know me well understands that. And I think they get it. You know, and people who get it, and the people that don't. And I don't think that's different for anyone. Whether it be you with your anxiety disorder.
I got real problems.
You, boy. I mean, just that shirt alone. Wow.
Well, that's the most hurtful thing you've said in this conversation.
Well, when a gay man says it, you know you're in trouble. Hey, you know you're in trouble. This says the guy who's wearing a Thor t-shirt.
Well, you're a gay nerd, so it's a different kind of thing. I actually don't take your clothing critique that harshly.
Wow.
Well, so Tim, to wrap up, are there good places people can connect to you online? Like, are you online in ways that people can see what you're up to, what you care about?
No, and I was getting to this idea when I was thinking about coming onto this podcast. I'm like, I don't have anything to promote.
Yeah. I mean, you're promoting, just like, don't bother me unless you're going to be fun. Like, that's a good...
Yeah, I'm pushing that agenda. But I mean, people have literally told me, you really should have a YouTube channel or a podcast or a place for someone to go to talk to you.
Sure.
But Facebook, if you look me up on Facebook, you're going to... I think it's just my full name, Timothy Iverson on Facebook. Yeah. You can find me at Iverson Image on Twitter if you want to Twitter.
People can send you messages about how they think you should make a podcast.
They can totally, or they can send
me
messages and say, how dare you insult me.
That's a good idea.
Right.
Yeah. If you take umbrage, it's at Iverson Image.
Yeah, friend me on Facebook and then assault me.
Oh,
please.
Perfect.
Let's hook up.
Well, Tim, I really appreciate you talking to me today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for letting me on your show, you crazy person, you.
Season 2 of Not About You would not be possible without the generous support of Walker West Music Academy in St. Paul. Walker West provides music education to any student who wants to learn, offering a variety of lessons for all ages and all skill levels. Go to walkerwest.org for more information. I wouldn't be able to make Not About You without the deep learning and guidance of folks I've met through my time in the Sustainable Progress Through Engaging Active Citizens program, or SPEAK, based out of Hope Community in Minneapolis. Go to hope-community.org to check out all the amazing work being done at Hope Community. Support them if you've got the resources to do so. Season 2 of Not About You would truly not be possible without all the amazing folks who agreed to be guests and share their valuable time and considerable experiences with me. So go seek out their work and find ways to support them. And of course, this show only really has meaning if you listen and share. So thanks for listening. Now go share. Tell someone about the show. Share it on social media with the hashtag NAPOD. Post an iTunes review. Please post an iTunes review. Help me get these conversations out to more folks. The Not About You theme song is Rebels of Our Own Kind by Charlie Van Stee. used with permission from Charlie.